Hi, this is a CIT 370 presentation on proxy servers for Kelsey Baker, Travis Longacre, David Mann, and Tyler Nelson.
A proxy server is an intermediary between a computer or other device and the internet. Proxy servers help improve web surfing by storing frequently visited sites. The web server may exist within the firewall, or it may be a separate server forwarding requests through the firewall. When a user visits a site, the proxy server will appear as a visitor rather than seeing the actual user. It does this by hiding the user's IP address, location, and other personal information. Companies use proxy servers so that they may improve security and monitor their employees' actions. When the employee is forced to access the internet through a company's proxy, detailed logs are stored that monitor all the websites visited, the content accessed, when and for how long, and which employee accessed those sites. Companies can use this data to easily identify misconducting employees.
So really quick, what is a proxy server? A proxy server is an intermediary server that talks between two different portions of the internet. There's two main types, a forward proxy and a reverse proxy. Really briefly, a forward proxy is literally the basic version of what we just talked about a proxy server was. It talks from one portion of the internet to the other. It takes a request coming in and forwards it to wherever it needs to be going. It can be something even as simple technically as a switch. It's just talking between two different points. A reverse proxy is the same concept, but its location is a little bit different. Rather than talking between one portion of the internet to the other portion of the internet, it talks from pretty much the rest of the internet to just a few select servers. This is usually used by companies and websites to allow them to use more servers and to have this one single point that it can work for. So it can use load sharing or encryption in one specific server or things like that. Squid, on the other hand, is a type of proxy, but not one of the two main types. It's what's called a caching proxy. It downloads content that it has been requested to gather so that it uses frequently so that it can serve it up to people faster. That has a ton of different configurations on how it can do this, which ones it downloads, and various things like that. But it can be both a forwards and a reverse proxy. So in other words, those are the two main types. This is kind of even a higher type. You could have your basic proxy and then a caching proxy. We'll actually go a little bit more over this later, and we will actually show an installation for this and kind of how it works and what it does.
Hello, this is Travis Longacre, and I am going to demonstrate how to set up a proxy server using Squid on Ubuntu. So the first thing we're going to want to do is head over to our terminal. So you can open that up. So you're going to have to use the system admin, so you're going to use sudo and then apt get install squid. Then you're going to enter your password and hit yes. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. As we would let that download, should only take a few seconds. There we go. And the next thing we're going to do is back up our config file. So that's located here. As you see, there is our squid config, which we're going to want to back up. So that's easy as well. So sudo copy squid.config, and we're going to call it squid, can't type, config.backup. There we go. Now you see that we have the squid, the original, and the backup. So next thing we're going to want to do is head over to our Internet Explorer or Firefox or Chrome, whatever you have. Open that up, and you're going to want to head over, at least in Firefox, you go over to File, Preferences, Advanced. You're going to go to Network, head over to Settings, and you're going to want to manually proxy configuration, because as you see right now, anyone can access it doing whatever they want, but we don't want that. We want to control what people can access. So you can click there. you need to get your IP, so that's easy as well. If config, and my IP address for this VM is 10.0.2.15. And then the default port for Squid is 3128. Then you're going to hit OK, close, and now everything should be blocked. Yep, and it should be, so that means everything's working properly. Now you're going to want to head back over to your terminal, and we're going to start editing the config file. So you're going to sudo get it squid .config, and I want the terminal and the get it editor to run at the same time, so just put an and sign there, and it should pop up. Now this is a pretty big configuration file, so what I would do is go over to preferences and display number lines. As far as configuring this, you can actually put your lines wherever you want. The only stipulation I have found that you might run into is using your HTTP access. There is a certain order you do want that, so just make sure you put it above these lines down here, because I have run into issues where if you put it below this line, it'll cause issues. So we're just going to go up here under the access ports, and we're going to create an access control list, and we're going to call it whitelist. So these are the ones that we're gonna let through, and then destination, domain, and let's see, we're gonna allow, let's say Yahoo and Google. And now you're gonna set up your HTTP access, allow white list, and that should do it. So you're going to want to save that and go back to your terminal, and you're going to type sudo service squid 3 restart, and that should restart after a few seconds. There we go, it stopped, then restarted. And let's see here, so google.com. Now we have access, and to show that it's actually working, we're going to go to msn.com and see that it still has 9. So that's how you whitelist. So you can just, a lot of people actually make a file and put these in, but I was just doing a quick demonstration. So you can just add what domains you would like access to. You can also do it with IP addresses. You can actually set up users. There's a whole list of things you can do. I mean, this file is over 7,000 lines long. It has descriptions for everything you could possibly do with this software, with Squid. So if you want to go through and get a little bit more nitpicky, you can, which is fine. But that's it. That's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Yeah, so if you have any questions, leave a comment. Well, thank you.